Hello everyone, it's me, your average bonehead, Jay. And here we are, the grand finale of the Owl House. Watching and dreaming. No need for any setup, let's just get right into it. So the episode literally kicks off right where For the Future left off, with Amity, Willow, Gus, Hunter, and Camilla being taken away by Enzo Gabriel, as Luz ends up waking up in the space between spaces, but then she wakes up again to find herself in the castle throne room dressed up as Emperor Bellos. Luckily, she still has String Bean with her, but when she goes outside, she sees... And to make matters worse, she then sees Amity, who blames her for everything, and attacks her. Then, Ida wakes up. She manages to escape her prison, but is captured again as it turns out she was betrayed by Lilith and her mother, who blames Ida for what she did to her father.
Why, Ida? I forgave you.
And then, King wakes up, where he is confronted by Bill, who is ready to sacrifice him.
Don't you recognize your siblings? But don't worry, we saved the best spot for you.
Back with Luz, she ends up running into Willow, Gus, and Hunter, who all blame Luz for the horrible things that have happened to them. And just when it looks like things are about to get ugly, Amity states,
I challenge you to a witch's battle!
And that's what helps Luz figure out that something isn't right, as that was the wrong line.
It's, I challenge you to a witch's duel, not witch's battle. And the Amity I know would never misquote the good witch Azura.
And something's not right indeed. As it turns out, they were all being used as puppets by Enzo Gabriel. Amity, Willow, Gus, and Hunter managed to break free temporarily to give Luz some final words of encouragement, and Amity ends up giving Luz a light glyph to help her wake up, before the four of them are taken away once again. Upon waking up for real this time, Luz manages to save King and Ida, and the Owl family finally gets to reunite. We then see that the whole reason why Enzo Gabriel even did this in the first place was to make them see the errors of their ways. Not the best way of doing that, but oh well. It makes sense that he would think that this was okay, as he's still under the manipulation of Puppet Rain, who, if you all remember, is currently being possessed by Philip. Enzo, worried that King will hate him now because of this, ends up letting it slip to Philip that his powers don't work on Titans, which then gives Philip a brilliantly evil idea. He tells Enzo to go play with them himself, and after Enzo leaves, Philip then heads off to, you guessed it, possess the Titan. After the Owl family finally catch up on everything that's happened to them since the last time they saw each other, Enzo arrives, questioning why King doesn't want to play with him. And then we are confirmed what we all basically could have assumed by how he acts. Enzo doesn't understand the concept of mortality, thinking that if his toys break, he can just fix them, not understanding that mortals are people and there's a huge difference.
So let me show you some of my favorite games.
Meanwhile, we see that Rain is actually trying to fight back against Philip, but to no avail. And also, we see the puppets of the kids, and we see that Amity is slowly gaining back some form of consciousness. We then get a montage of Enzo playing different games with the Owl family, as each of them managed to thwart him in all of them. Saddened and embarrassed by this failure, Enzo ends up revealing that all he truly wants is a friend that won't lie to him. Man, these Spinel parallels are getting stronger by the second. First with the
let's play another game, this time I got to win! I think I want to play a new game.
Now with the
I'm supposed to be a friend. I just want to be a friend. I just wanted a friend who wouldn't lie to me or trick me.
Hey, I'm not complaining, I'm loving this. Enzo also revealed that his siblings, the Archivists, invaders zimmed him to the Boiling Isles, and then took away all the Titans that were nice to him. This resulted in the last Titan, King's dad, believing Enzo did it, and trapping him away for thousands of years. Which I guess that just kinda confirms that the way the Collector was acting in previous episodes was just a front to make him seem more mature in front of Philip. Yeah, I'll accept that headcanon. Feeling sorry for the kid, the Owl family decide to take him to various locations across the Boiling Isles where they had their greatest adventures, to show him what true friendship really is. Meanwhile, Rain manages to eject Philip outside of their body, and tries fighting back against him. However, in the end, Rain ultimately ends up failing to beat Philip, as just the smallest bit of him gets onto the Titan's heart, and he starts possessing the whole thing. Meanwhile, using a light glyph, Amity manages to get herself as well as Willow, Gus, and Hunter up, and they realize that they're in the archives with the rest of the dolls.
Where's Luce?
Meanwhile, the Owl family finally managed to teach Enzo that you can't force people to be your friend. On top of that, they also teach him the importance of kindness and forgiveness.
Sometimes they just need a little kindness and forgiveness. Kindness and forgiveness, huh?
Then they see that Philip is possessing the Titan and is going to cleanse the Boiling Isles of all witches himself by turning into this unholy abomination. Kinda ironic that his methods for getting rid of something he claims to be demonic is by turning into the devil himself. Upon arriving at the scene, Enzo states that he can stop Philip. Unfortunately, he doesn't realize that he was the redeemed villain of the show, and that Philip is...
You're an irredeemable monster!
What took you so long, idiot?
And when Enzo has his back turned, thinking that they can all be friends, Philip tries to finish him off, but then Luce jumps in to save Enzo. And then... they pull an amphibia on us. Damn it, I'm still not over that trauma, you just gotta double it up. All joking aside, this is a really effective scene. Seeing Luce disappear into the balls of light, floating across the island, and seeing everyone's reaction to it, and seeing Camilla's puppet crying, is so effective in actually making the scene get to me. It's all topped off with Enzo not understanding why he can't just bring her back. Finally figuring out that this is something he just can't undo. At first he's questioning where she went.
Where'd she go?
Then he's thinking she's hiding.
Luce? Luce! Yoo-hoo! You can come out now!
Then he tries snapping his fingers to bring her back, and she just won't come back.
What? Why isn't it working?
It really helps make the scene sadder, and really helps cap off Enzo's arc. And it also makes you hate Philip just a little bit more, just in case you didn't hate him enough. And speaking of hatred, King and Ida immediately go in for the kill, trying to fight back against Philip. Then we see that Luce is once again in the space between spaces, as before she's finally gone, she's physically told it's not her time yet, as she is saved by the King of the Demons, King's father, the Titan himself, Sans Undertale.
Oh, Titan.
Oh, me! Nice to meet you, Luce the human.
The Titan states then that they've been watching over King this whole time, and by extension, Luce as well. The Titan then confirms to Luce that she is nothing like Philip due to the fact that just because one may have a similar goal to another, doesn't mean the will comes from the same place.
That man doesn't care about anything but his need to be the hero in his own delusion. And because of that, he fears what he can't control.
So with the Titan's time finally running out, they question if Luce wants to take the last bit of power that they have to go back and save everyone.
So the question is, will you choose yourself?
To which Luce accepts. But before she leaves, the Titan has one more request, that when she sees King again, to give him a special message. Meanwhile, with the Hex Squad, they manage to bring Camilla back, and she tells them that Luce will be okay, and that in the meantime, they can help by bringing everyone else back. And then, just when it looks like it's all over for Ida, King, and Enzo, Luce comes back. In one of the coolest ultimate form designs I've ever seen. I really love how it's like a combination of Harpy Ida and the Titan, which makes sense since that's her family on the Boiling Isles. But of course, it's still Luce, as she hilariously didn't have a cool catchphrase to say when she got back.
Couldn't keep me away from... Just hang on. Oh.
So, the Owl family, paired up with some gorgeous animation, beat the ever-living Christ out of Philip. Meanwhile, Camilla, Amity, Willow, Gus, and Hunter are doing their best to save all the dolls, but then when it looks like the archive's about to fall with all of them in it, they are saved by Enzo, as they're relieved to see that he's on their side now. Back with the Owl family, we get this absolutely gorgeous shot of them looking down at the full view of the Titan, finally giving us a good idea of how big they actually are. And they decide that they're gonna give Philip one hell of a heart attack. They even managed to rescue Rain on the way. Yay, they didn't die. Now they and Ida can get married, and I won't have to hear people complaining about Rain on Twitter. As the four of them find Philip and all fight back against him. Also, I love how Rain's fighting back Olimar style. And after one amazing sequence where we see everyone fighting at once, we get the perfect season 1 callback as Luce finally rips Philip right off the heart of the Titan.
Now eat this, sucker! Now eat this, sucker!
As the Philip monster is finally destroyed, and the Boiling Isles and all of its inhabitants are finally saved. Also, a detail I really like is how Amity is the first one to extend her hand out for Enzo, which makes sense since she's the one who's canonically good with kids. And then we get another one of my favorite villain deaths ever. As it turns out, Philip is still alive, as he tries to BS his way out of any consequences to Luce, saying that he wasn't actually evil, he was just cursed to be that way.
Yes, I was cursed with a terrible, terrible sickness by dark magic, just like your mentor.
But Luce ain't having any of that, as it starts to rain and the boiling rain starts to melt Philip away, with him going out still believing, once again, that he is in the right.
We're human. We're better than this!
Then Ida, King, and Rain show up and stomp him into the dirt where he belongs. My god, what a villain. As the power of the Titan finally leaves Luce's body, the Owl family is reunited once again, as Luce tells King the message that his father left for him.
I loaf you? I loaf you. Bread pun.
And with Enzo bringing everyone back, things can finally start getting back to normal, or at least as normal as it can get on the Boiling Isles. So Lilith and Steve get to be besties, Amity reunites with her dad, Odalia hopefully gets 20 to life, Gus finally gets to reunite with his dad, Willow gets to reunite with her dads, Hunter gets adopted by Darius, and Hootie unfortunately gets no lines in the last episode of The Owl House. On top of that, Basha gets her last minute redemption, fine I'll give you this. Somehow no one turned Tibbles into bacon, and it turns out, as expected, that not everyone is going to be okay with the new normal. But with the Coven system gone, a new era of peace can be brought to the Boiling Isles, as it was before Philip and his reign of terror. They all regroup at the Owl House. We get another Lumity kiss. Yay! Camilla finally gets to meet the responsible woman that has been taking care of her daughter. Enzo gives Lilith back Hootie, and despite not talking, he manages to still be the most majestic thing of the episode. And Enzo decides to head back to the stars, as King tells him that he's welcome back anytime. But with the Titan now passing on, Luce discovers that the old glyphs won't work anymore, and it'll be a while before a new glyph language is created by the new Last Titan. Just like how, while this chapter of Luce's life is over, a new one is just beginning. And the episode ends on that note. What? What do you mean there's 7 minutes left of the episode that I didn't get to see because I live in Canada, and for some unknown reason they decided to cut the episode here because they decided to run commercials during what was supposed to be a commercial-free airing, making it so we didn't get to see the most satisfying 7-minute ending in any show. And those few minutes where I felt okay but slightly underwhelmed by the ending of this show, and I didn't realize that there was supposed to be more until I saw it on Twitter, were for nothing. I love Disney. We cut to a few years later, where Luce is now 18 years old, and she's about to leave for university. Of wild magic, that is, where, much like her high school days at Hexside, she's majoring in all types of magic. And yeah, they basically went with the ending I knew they were going to go with. Luce was probably going to move back to the human realm, but have 24/7 access to the Boiling Isles. Speaking of, we also get to catch up with V. Yay, I love seeing her. And she's with Owlbert, as he heads back to the Boiling Isles, and we get to see where everyone else has been doing all this time. We see that Willow is the captain of her own flyer derby team, the Emerald Entrails, and we see that Hunter's been learning from the Clawthorns about how to carve palisman. He even managed to carve himself his own. And her name is apparently Waffles. Oh, and Willow and Hunter are definitely dating. No ands or ifs or buts about it, as they see Flapjack's memorial. They then head back off to Bonesboro, where we see that Matt is instructing Kikimora during her 1,000 years of community service. Good. We see that Lilith and Hootie have also been helping out rebuild the Boiling Isles, and we see that Amity has a big place in the new and improved Blight Industries. At least I think. We also learn that Lilith has full access to her Harpy form. We also see that Principal Bump has pulled the Asgore card and is taking up gardening. We also see that Rain, Darius, and Everwolf have teamed up with Alador, as well as other ex-members of the Healing Coven, to finally find a way to remove the Coven sigils, finally giving all those people access to all types of magic. Oh yeah, and did I mention that we're learning all this while a god-tier rendition of the credits theme plays in the background? We then see the University of Wild Magic, where we get to see Gus, and hey, he finally has a different hairstyle now, along with Skara. Maybe now I can finally stop hearing people complaining on Twitter. Who am I kidding? I'm always gonna hear people complaining on Twitter about shows I like. But on top of that, we finally get to see Ida, who's looking Captain Hook levels like goddamn. And on top of that, she's the headmaster of the university. Oh, and she's also married to Rain. And when we finally cut back to the Owl House, we see that even King has gotten older. But the reason why they're all gathering is for Luce, as a way of saying thank you for saving them all, and the fact that she didn't get to really celebrate her 15th, 16th, or 17th birthday because she was helping them fix the Isles. They all decided to gather around and celebrate her 18th birthday here.
We wanted to make it up to you. Camila told us all about your King Cineras from the human realm.
They sounded a lot less haunted than our birthdays.
As Luce then learns from King that a whole new glyph language is in the process of being made. But on top of that, Enzo Gabriel's passing by and gives them all one heck of a light show. And I also like how they have all three ships front and center. But Luce, Ida, and King promise each other that no matter what, they'll always stick together.
Thank you for everything.
Right back at you, kiddo.
Weirdos?
Weirdos.
But as the old saying goes, nothing lasts forever, as they all say their goodbyes to Enzo, and more importantly, their last goodbyes to us as an audience, as the show gives us the penultimate thanks for watching. Bye! As the episode and the series ends on that note. Now that's how you do a finale. Seriously though, bravo to this show. Watching and Dreaming is one of my favorite series finales, right up there with Avatar, Steven Universe, and Amphibia. And I haven't finished Gravity Falls yet, okay? Give me more time. But seriously, Watching and Dreaming was a great episode. As an episode, yeah, you could maybe argue it's a bit rushed and not everyone got all the focus they could have gotten. But once again, considering Season 3's restrictions, I think Dana and her team did one hell of a job for this finale. I am completely satisfied with this ending, and I'm completely satisfied with this show. The Owl House is honestly one of my favorite shows of all time, and I think it's earned that ranking for me. Like any good show, it definitely has its flaws, but I can look past them and see one of the greatest Disney shows ever made. With so much heart and passion poured into it, I can't thank this show enough for existing. And honestly, there's one more person I have to thank. You guys. Look at this. We're over 100 subscribers. I'm honestly shocked. Almost at 130 at the time of recording this. I'm so surprised I actually managed to get this far this quickly. And I have all of you to thank for it. And if you're watching this but not subscribed already, I would be so grateful if you would. Like, comment, subscribe, maybe all three. Please. It'd really make me happy. And yeah. Thank you for your time, and thank you, The Owl House, for being one of the greatest shows of all time. Does this mean I'm done with The Owl House? Heck no. I still got lots of old episodes I want to review, and I'm pretty sure I can do a character skeleton of every main character. So, you're still going to be seeing Owl House content on this channel for a while. But until then, I'm your average bonehead Jay, and I wish you all good night.